everybody. Today we are going to talk about confidence and courage. How to be confident or more confident, and how to have courage to do things. So I'm going to share my presentation. Confidence and courage. What is this about? How to, well, to have self-confidence, to have self-esteem, and also to have to be brave to achieve things and to set goals for yourself. And it's important to set your goals and then to achieve them, because that will give you more self-confidence. Well, first of all, I share this because I suppose you have heard about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where that it says that we must get some basic needs, that is the food, shelter, survival, like to have a place to live, to have clothes, to have food to live. And then after we start thinking about fulfill more areas of our life, like a partner, to have friends, financial stability, belonging to some group. And then if we go up in the scale, we aim to get some recognition, achievements, respect from other people, and then more like self-actualization, like creativity, like creating things in your life that will leave a legacy. So also we have done before a talk about chakras. This is the Maslow's hierarchy of needs is very equivalent to the chakra system that, as you can see here, starts from from survival in the first chakra, about feelings, to have a good confidence and self-esteem. That is what we're going to talk about mainly today. Love people, to speak your truth, to see the things, and to more spirituality areas. So that is very important because, first of all, to be confident, it's very good to have some goals in your life. So that will give you the motivation, the energy to work on that goals, towards those goals. So either if your goal is to be just more basic, like make friendships, so you dare to speak to people in a public place, or if your goal is to achieve, like raise your position in your work and achieve things that will leave a legacy for the future generations. In any case, the goal that you would like to set, it's good to have a goal in your life, to have a vision, what you want. So if you are not clear about that, maybe you have something in mind that you have not so clear where your final goal is, but you have like middle goals where you want to be, or in your profession, what would you like to become, etc. So as I say, it's very important to set your goals, and probably you have heard about this SMART goal. So a goal is something that is specific and something that you can measure. So specific is something like there is not an ambiguous thing. This is what they want. Measure means that, well, you can once you achieve that, you can say, I have achieved this because how I can measure. Otherwise, if you cannot measure, you are not sure if you achieve that, right? So that is very important also. Well, assignable, in other versions of this SMART system, it is attainable, something that is, or like it's very similar to realistic, right? Attainable, realistic, of course, something that is not super fantastic, like, but this is a little tricky, because if you do like a short time goal of course, overnight you cannot achieve like a big ambitious goal, but if you give, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years time, you have time to achieve even very ambitious goal. You just, you set your goal and then you say, okay, today going to work on this in the direction of my goal. And every day you work a little bit more. Some days you can work more hours, sometimes not so many, but if you have clear what is your goal, you will always advance. Sometimes slower, sometimes quicker, and sometimes is like you are not going straight to your goal most of the times. Sometimes you get aside and you get distracted by other things, so you have to do other things in the meantime. But if you have that main goal, you always go back to that main goal and return to the path to achieve that goal. So that is very important because that gives you the energy and the motivation to dare to do things, right? So one technique that I use much is I set my objectives or goals. Usually I put here within objectives within. First, I start with a long-term goal, like for example, 5 years. So in 5 years, I put here 5 and years. So in 5 years time, what would I like to achieve? And I put here the description of the goal. Well, here is quite similar, but in this quadrant, it's very important that to specify something that is measurable. So something that you can measure. So you say, I want to be a billionaire, but how much do you want to earn, for example, right? So something that you can measure so you can check if you are actually achieve that goal. So, and this is the deadline also, like in the smart objectives that we saw here before. The T of the smart goals is time related or time based. So it's also very important because if I just say, I want to achieve that one day, and I don't know, 1 year later, I want to achieve that one day. So you always keep delaying that. So it's also very important to set a date to achieve your goals. That many times it happens that you don't achieve that goal in specifically that date, but because you put pressure on you to go to work on towards that goal, for sure you will be much more advanced at that date. You might achieve that in that date or not, but if you put that date, you will have the motivation to go and work on that. And when that date comes, if you haven't achieved that, you will be closer, much closer. So it's very important, as I say. And then measurement is when once you achieve that goal, when, for example, you put here a date, you put here the date that actually you go to do that and achieve, yes or not. But yeah, that is the important thing is description, objective, well, more or less this is similar, but the thing is to put something that is something that you can measure and to write a deadline. So you put here like 5 years, the deadline would be up to 5 years, but could be maybe 2 years if you want. And what I do here also is I start with 5 years, and then once I have this complete with the different goals, it can be professional and also personal, I write also another one that is 1 year. So what do I need to do within the next year to achieve that goal in 5 years time? So you put here, what you need to do. So you say, I'm going to earn, I don't know, like 5 millions a year. That is a bit crazy, but so in 1 year, maybe you would like to earn 1 million, no, to go on the way, work on the way to that 5 years goal, for example. So, and after 1 year, I put usually another one that is 4 months. That is the same, but how do I need to do in the within the next 4 months to achieve the goal in 1 year, to achieve the goal in 5 years, etc. And even you can go closer in time, 1 month, and even 1 week if you have the time. And but this is an exercise that at the beginning is difficult to do because you have to think a lot, etc. But it is really is worth it because it gives you the motivation to work on that goals. And as I say, it is very important because if you don't have any goal, it's like you are in the middle of the ocean and you are just, the wind blows in one side, and you just, you just go with the wind. So to have the clear objectives in your life is very important. So you will work on with passion and with courage to achieve the goals. Another exercise that they do is this that we practice also, I think this week, that is to set your main goal and then to put sub goals, and also the why is very important. Why do you want to achieve that goal? Because if you don't have a good reason to achieve that, that will give you not too much motivation. But you have not, I mean, one reason why, but if you have three, it's even better, because your brain, once your brain has three reasons to achieve that goal, you have very clear that you want to achieve that goal, and you work on that no matter what. And then the when is the to set a deadline, as we said, and also you can put here like who will help you and how these people will help you, or how will you do it. So this is an exercise that we will not do today because it's something that is more takes a bit of time to think about each of you, but you can do a screenshot and practice at your home if you want. And also, this is the same, but with the right brain. So if the left brain is like more analytic, more about words, the right brain is more about images, creativity, feelings. So you can do this is the same, main goal, sub goals, why, who is going to help you, and how. But in this case, you can draw it. So that will work with your right brain, with your emotional brain. Because in the end, we are moved by emotions, even though we think we are moved by reasons, but actually what drive our lives is the emotions. And after we justify our actions, emotional actions, with reasons, as we are going to say also today. Well, so this is just a little exercise that, well, little can be important exercise that you can do to set your goals, especially what can be one or more goals, but that is very important because that will drive you to have courage and to talk to people and to to do things to achieve what you want. Now, we talked about this a few weeks ago, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. You can see the talk on our YouTube channel. So today we're going not to spend too long with this. But mainly is you go from dependence to independence. So this is a private victory, to a victory within yourself. That is to be proactive, to be a proactive person. That means not to act in a reactive way. So to be reactive is to act because you have other things that happen to you, and then you react to them. But to be proactive is, for example, to set a goal, say, okay, I want to do this. So I act because I want, right? And begin with the end in mind again. To set your goals, it could be in like family, money, work, professions, pleasure, friends, uh, personal development, etc. So for example, here, if you are here, probably because you want to improve in your personal development. So that is a good point. And then put first things first. So once you have your goal first clear, then work on that and avoid any distractions that might happen in your life, that we are also always exposed to these different distractions. But if you have your goal clear and you work on that as a priority, then you will be able to achieve that sooner or later. It's just a matter of time. If you work on something every day. Some days can be a little bit, some days can be more, but eventually you will get there. So there is, that is the logic. And then from independence to interdependence, that is the public victory. So when you are fine with yourself, you also deal with other people. That is think win-win. So collaborate with people. Also, it's similar. Well, it's not exactly the same, but also synergize. So it's collaborate with people because alone you can achieve things, but with people, with some partners, with some colleagues, you can achieve bigger things, right? So it's good to be able to choose the right people to collaborate with, to work with, to partner with. But yeah, it's very important also to not to be alone in that, and seek to understand and to be understood. Well, also to listen first and then expose you what you want, and sharpen the saw. Well, that is always keep learning and keep improving yourself to be able to have more abilities and skills to be able to achieve bigger things. So now, as we said before, the brain. So we have the reptilian brain, that is our brain that, thanks to this part of the brain, we can breathe and we can walk and we can do basic things, eat, etc., without even thinking. We don't need to think how to breathe every time, right? And then we have the limbic mammalian feeling brain, that is the brain that is driven by the feelings. And then we have the neocortex, that is the more rational brain. But we think, the point is, we think we take the decisions with the rational brain, but actually before that, even without noticing unconsciously, we take the decisions with the feeling brain, with emotions, even with the reptilian brain. We also saw this in a previous session, persuasion. So you can see also that on YouTube. The thing is, our reptilian brain always the mission of the reptilian brain is to keep living, to stay alive, right? So any change that might happen in our lives, automatically it will be, our reptilian brain will be opposing to that change. Our reptilian brain and also the subconscious mind, that is a different concept. So this is the parts of the brain, and also we have the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is what we're conscious of, right? And the subconscious mind is what we don't even think about, but it is there, our values, our beliefs, and that drives our lives as well. So, and also our subconscious mind is just always trying to keep you alive. So any change will be naturally opposed by our subconscious mind and our reptilian brain. But this is natural. So anytime there is something that we do, something new, like for example, driving a car, the first time you drive a car, you are scared. I say, oh no, some part of you said, oh, I don't want to do it. But that is natural. But the thing is to overcome that natural prevention and say, yes, I want to do it anyway. I face that fear, that is natural, to have fear for something that you do the first time, and I take the responsibility to do it. And that is how you take the courage to the things. As we're going to see later, this is a process that is a learning curve that we're going to see in a moment. But first, know that you have several types of intelligences, the seven intelligences. So you say, oh, because I am not very good in, I don't know, computing, or I'm not very good in singing, but probably you are very good in other areas, mathematical, musical, interpersonal, intrapersonal. So intrapersonal is with yourself, and interpersonal is with other people. So you must be, you might be maybe very good with yourself because you are an introvert person, and maybe not so good interacting with people. So, but that doesn't mean that you are not an intelligent person or a smart person. That you have developed more other types of intelligences, and in any case, everything can be learned. So if you are not good in something and you say, I want to be good in this, so you focus on that, you set that goal, and you work on that, you will transform that weakness into an strength. So just to say, okay, in which area of my life I want to improve, and then work on that. As I said before, the learning curve. We saw this a few weeks ago also, but we are going to repeat briefly. Anytime we do something that we haven't done before, at the beginning we feel fear, or we don't want to do it. We even some people can pressure us. They say, yeah, yes, do this, and we feel resistant, even anger. No, I don't want to do that. All right. So, and well, there is this something called unconscious incompetence. I don't know that I don't know. So that is when you are not conscious that you are not able to do something. For example, when you are a child, you don't know how to drive a car, and you haven't thought about that. You didn't think about, I need to drive a car, how to drive. No, because you are too young and you didn't even think about that. But there is a time, maybe when you are a teenager, that you see that driving a car can give you benefits. You can have more social life. You can go to places. Say, oh, I really want to drive a car. But you don't know. That is conscious incompetence. So in any case, if it is something that it is because of your decision or because there is some pressure put on you, you say, okay, I'm going to learn that. It's time to learn how to do this. And then you feel more open to that, start working, learning, and once you keep learning and starting knowing about that, you feel even excitement. And when you persist on working on that and you learn, you will feel satisfied. And you keep practicing and practicing, and you feel more confidence. So everything is a process. We don't know, we don't get born knowing how to do anything. So everything we learn in our life. So it's about deciding, I want to learn this, put that goal, and knowing that this learning curve that at the beginning is going to be difficult for us, challenging, daunting, but if we persist, everybody can achieve things. And in the end, we can even become masters of that. We can even teach that if we know how to do it so well that we can even teach that. So that is conscious, and that is conscious competence when you know that you know, and unconscious competence is I know that I am good. I don't think about it anymore. So, for example, when you drive a car, once you have passed your test and you drive a car many times, you take the car and you don't think about I need to change the switch, the gear, and now I have to push this button. No, you just go to one place, another place, and you don't even think. You arrive to the place and you don't even notice how many times you were pressing the buttons or changing gear, etc. So that is unconscious incompetence. So this is a process that it is natural. So it is normal to feel fear at the beginning, something new. We face something new and we feel nervous, fear, even we don't want to do it, but that is natural. So just keep in mind that that is natural. Probably you know about this guy, right? This Harrison Ford playing Indiana Jones. So Indiana Jones has lived a lot of adventures in his life, has been in many countries, and this is the spirit to be able to set a goal and say, okay, I will achieve that, and then that will get you into an adventure. Sometimes the adventure is more risky than others. Indiana Jones' adventures are usually risky. It hasn't you don't have to put your life in risk, but the thing is, once you put the challenge and you work on the challenge, and especially once you achieve that, then is when you feel confident about that. You say, okay, I I test myself and I achieved that, so I can do it. And when you test in something and you prove that you can do it, your self-esteem increases because you feel more capable to do other things that you didn't thought about before, or you didn't believe that you were able to do before. So to achieve those challenges, sometimes you need to prepare for the challenges before. So there is no excuse like to say, "Oh no, I cannot do that." But okay, many people were not able to do something, but they trained, they worked hard to prepare for that, and then they were able to do that. So it's not about giving you any excuses. That is just that, excuses. So if you want to do something, do it. If you are not completely ready for that, prepare for that, train. And train, it could be physically, but it could be also intellectually. So read books or attend this type of workshops where they give you more information, more knowledge, and then put in practice things. So that is the point. Many people think, oh, I cannot do this, but have you ever tried? Have you put the effort to be ready for that and work on that? So that's the point. And also the mindset is very important. We have a chat about emotional intelligence some weeks before, and we are not to specify too much today about this, but just to know this, that we have the intrapersonal intelligence and the interpersonal intelligence, as we have seen before. Intrapersonal intelligence and interpersonal intelligence. The intrapersonal intelligence is about yourself. First of all, self-awareness. To know yourself. That is very important. To know yourself, to know your weaknesses, to know your strengths, and know how to transform your weaknesses into strengths. And once you know yourself, you can control your emotions, so you can regulate your self-regulations, control emotional control. So you say, okay, whenever I go to, I don't know, the beach, for example, today we are in the beach. I don't know, wait a moment. Would you go to the beach? Today I'm the beach, so I am just showing you. And you say, oh, the water is very cold. So, you know, when the water is cold, I don't want to go to the water. But if you know that you get scared because the water is cold, you know it. You say, okay, I feel afraid to go into the water when it's cold. But you know, the emotional control is to say, okay, even though I feel that, I decide to encourage myself to go into the water. So that can be with any emotions that you can have. And once you have your self awareness and your self control, it's much easier to have the same for with other people, the interpersonal intelligence. That is, first of all, to understand how people think and feel. That is the empathy. And then social skills like leadership, influence, communication, conflict management, etc., etc. And then the motivation, that is both in both sides, is intrapersonal and interpersonal. That means you can motivate yourself and also you can motivate other people. But today we're especially talking about motivate yourself. So the emotional intelligence is very important to have self-confidence, to understand yourself, to understand your emotions, when you feel fear, when you feel any kind of emotion, and how to control them. Because yes, fear is useful. For example, you know, if there is a danger, there is a car coming to you, and you feel fear and say, okay, oh, this is going to it's dangerous for me, and then you move aside. Otherwise, you know, it would be dangerous for us if we don't have fear. But that fear doesn't mean that we cannot do things. We can overcome that fear. We can face that fear and act anyway with some, um, to be cautious about some things and to measure the risks. But yeah, you can do many things even though you have fear. And also the types of thoughts that we have also talked in emotional intelligence and also in other different talks. So we are going to review just briefly again. We have different types of thoughts. Useful, that is like the day by day thoughts that we need to have, like when you, for example, you need to buy, you go to the supermarket and need to buy this type of food, tomatoes, lettuce, meat. Okay, this is useful thoughts. And then useless, that is this part, that some, for example, is when you watch TV that is not really giving you any value, but you are using your energy, brain energy, to think about that. That is kind of useless, right? But then the most important, or the most relevant in this case, is the negative and positive. So the negative is those that prevent us to act, that we feel fear, that we think we are not enough, that we think we are not able to do this, etc. But there are different ways to get rid of those thoughts. For example, just cut them off instantly. You have the thought, you say, I don't want to have the thought. And you just change and think about any different thing. Your mind, yes, has a lot of thoughts in one day, thousands of thoughts, but cannot have two thoughts at the same time. So if you have a negative thought and you change it for another one, that will prevent the former to keep giving you the, like, control you. Also, you can observe that thought and say, okay, this is like, to label that thought is like, okay, I'm having a negative thought. And you can see from, like, in a different perspective, that is me and this is the negative thought. So that doesn't have control over you. If you look for a different perspective, an objective perspective. And then to exaggerate the thought, to say, for example, oh yes, I'm afraid to go to drive, and or to go to the beach. In this case, I'm the water is cold, and then if I go into the water, I will freeze and I will die. No, it's just an exaggeration. So you can use that technique, because also when a thought, that thought will lose power over you. You make it ridiculous, so it will stop controlling you. And also similar to the first one, change for another thought, but in this case it's just for the opposite. So you say, for example, oh, I cannot do it, that you are thinking, no, and your negative thoughts, and say, I'm going to change for the opposite one. Yes, I can do it. Of course, I'm able to do that. I can do it. And that is where we come to the affirmations. That is one good example of positive thoughts. When you say to yourself positive things, for example, I can do it. I love myself. I believe something extraordinary is going to happen to me today. I am the best. If you repeat those thoughts in your mind, or even better, maybe in front of the mirror, or like anytime that you have the chance, of course, not in front of many people, because you say, I love myself in front of many people. No, so people will say, oh, this guy is crazy or whatever. But if you do it in private, that is affecting your subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind, in the end, rule your life, because it's the program that you have. We also saw that in the neurolinguistic programming, for example, presentation, I think 2 weeks ago. So the thing is to prepare your subconscious mind to be able and to be brave enough to, instead of by default to be afraid of doing new things, the opposite, to say, okay, this is a new thing, I feel fear to do that at the beginning. It's normal. But anyway, I want to do it. And if you change your mindset from being afraid of doing new things to in front of new things to say, yes, I can do it. Just let's try, right? Never try, never know. So just test it. And with these affirmations, you can give to your conscious mind some like programming to believe in you more, right? So this is just for examples of affirmations, but you can put here anything that you would like. Talking about in first person, I, present moment, I can, no, I could, or I will be able to, no, now, I can now do it. Okay, and also in positive way. So you say, I don't want any problem in my life. Your subconscious mind, first of all, will listen to problems in your life. That is what we give you, problems in your life. So instead of that, you can say, I want my life to flow. I want a flow in my life to be smooth, right? For example. So the thing is first person, present moment, and positive. And that gives you can work with yourself and try also with other people. You can say members of your family, your partner, give them uh, those affirmations like, yes, I believe in yourself, you can do it. And that person, if they heard from other people that, oh, that person told me I can do it, so I believe more I can do it, right? So if they heard from many people that they can do it, so again, this works with yourself but also with other people. You can help other people to be more confident. Now, also this is important to know. Life is a cycle. So it's like the seasons of the year: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. So at the beginning, so it's like the seasons. There are something that is difficult, and I'm coming through a difficult time in my life. But after, well, life smiles to me, and I'm doing much better. And then the winter comes again, and I'm having again difficulty. So this is life. Sometimes, well, because of different reasons, we lose focus, we have bad habits, etc. But the thing is, the life is a cycle. Is we come through. Sometimes it's more difficulties in our life. Sometimes it's easier. Sometimes we achieve things and feel so powerful. Sometimes we fail and feel less powerful. So also, it's good to have this in mind that it is not like once I get confident in my life, I will achieve everything. I will not fail anymore. So you still, sometimes you will fail, sometimes you will achieve good things. But if you have a good mindset, a positive mindset, and you work on towards your goals, probably you will have more stages of growth, right? So this is like a pendulum. Sometimes it is more negative, sometimes it's more positive, but in the end you can also control that. Like if you have a divine mindset and you learn how to do things better, you will be more times in the positive side. But yes, you don't know whenever life can bring you also more challenges. But just be aware that this is also natural. It's like the learning curve. Sometimes it's more difficult to do things and you are afraid, but just believe, have faith, and together with work, your self-work. And that brings to the next topic, that is resilience. Have you heard about this? Probably. So resilience is in spite of the difficulties of your life to still be able to stand up again. If you fall, you stand up again and you keep working and you resist. That is resilience. For that, we need a positive thinking, as we have said before. We have to have a purpose in to life or in life. As also we have said before, it's very important to have a vision in your life that guides you. And when you want to achieve something, you put the pressure on yourself and you say, I cannot be shy. You know, if I want to achieve what I want, I cannot allow myself to be shy. I just, go talk to people, do things, etc. Also, it's good to receive help from people, of course, to get the support from your family, your friends, partners, etc. To have the control, like as we said before, also to understand your limits or your weaknesses. Sometimes you think you have some limits, but you work enough, you can surpass those limits. So the thing is to understand yourself, but still be able to control your emotions and overcome those limiting beliefs and limiting emotions. And of course, self-esteem, that what we're talking today, that brings self-esteem. And also, this is like your circle of influence. And well, you read this sentence, right? Do you have a problem in your life? You say no. Okay, then don't worry about it. So, you watch the news and they're talking about so many dramas, and if you worry about them all, you are wasting your energy. So you really can do something about that, do it. But if you cannot really do something about that, don't even worry. And then if you have a problem and you can do something about it, well, do it, and then stop worrying about it. Just take the control and do it. And if you cannot do something about that, don't do it. So this is the circle of influence and the circles of control. So the influence is where you can act. If you in this circle, other circle, you don't have the power to transform things. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about that circle. And if you really want to change things in that circle, as we said before, train yourself, improve, study, whatever, and to be able to do that. But the point here is, if you overthink, you over worry about things, then that is not going to take you anywhere. So that is resilience. And now also we have seen this other times. We have a situation and we think, we have an internal dialogue and automatic thoughts. And we think, if we have the mindset that we have a situation and say, oh, I cannot do that. And then will you feel? You will feel powerless, with fear, and then you will act, probably you will not do anything, or you will act the things like not really well. For example, if you are going to do a public speaking activity and you think you are not good, and then you are going to feel nervous, and then you are going to act nervously, and probably it's not going to go well. But if you start thinking that you can do it, with the affirmation, I can do it, I believe in myself, etc., then you will feel better and you will act much better. So we can start from the thinking, but also, for example, the acting. Our body also conditions our thoughts. For example, it's impossible to have negative or like sad feelings if you are walking the street like with a position, like a strength position, and you go like this, and your mind cannot have negative thoughts. So your mind is responding to your body language. So if you think, oh, because my thoughts are too powerful on me and I cannot overcome my thoughts of fear, etc. Well, start with your body. And also, well, just the best way to do things is to overcome the fear is to face the fear, do it, and most of the times you will see, oh, it was not that difficult, I can do it, and then you will feel better. And you know, in this case, it could be a vicious circle or a virtuous, a virtue. No? So what do you want this circle to be for you? You want to be a negative circle or a positive circle? So if you want to be this to be a positive circle, just start from, usually for I think, but also it could be from I act, or from what I feel. Just, you know, do it, and then, you know, you will get the reps. So that's another important point. And a good technique is to think about, when you have a situation, what is the best that can happen if I do that situation? What is the worst? And what is the most probable that will happen? So then you will measure, you know, and when you are going to do something, you say, you have all the possibilities. If the worst is going to happen, if you thought about that before, you are going to prepare for that. Okay, in the worst scenario, if that happens, you think about a plan B. Say, okay, I'm going to do this. And in the best, well, that you much better, of course. And the most probable, I will do that, this, and that. So just put a bit of not only emotions, because you know that usually when you start something new, you have the emotion of fear, but also put some reasons there, no? And this is the best can happen, this is the worst. Okay, the worst is not that bad. So, you know, why not? I will try. So remember also this, thoughts lead to acts, acts lead to habits, and habits lead to character. And our character will determine our eternal destiny. So everything starts from our thoughts. Our thoughts will determine our eternal destiny. So, well, this is something to think about, right? How to control, understand yourself, understand your thoughts, what you and your feelings, why you are acting in this way, why you are thinking in this way, why you're feeling this way, and then from thanks to this rational brain that we have, the humans, we can think how to tweak those feelings, those thoughts, and put in our benefit. And also another interesting excuse that is usual, like, oh, I'm too old to do that, or like, no, very usual. So, well, you must know that there is a chronological age. No, how old are you? I'm 30, 40, 50, whatever. But also there is a physical age that sometimes is not the same. Sometimes people can say, oh, you look younger than you are, right? So, well, if you have a healthy life, you have a good nutrition, do exercise, etc., probably you will look younger than you are. And then mental, how mature you are, your education, environment, etc., conditions your mental age. But also, as we said before, if you read books, if you are conscious about your personal development and you attend this type of talks, attend courses, read books about personal development, etc. And the mental age also is about the experiences that you have in life, how much you have traveled, etc. But also, we have this spiritual age. Well, I call young an old soul. The young soul is that soul that is, you know, is they want to do things. They don't think, oh, I am too old for do this. No, the opposite. They say, I don't mind how old I am. I want to do this, and I go dancing, and I go out for this, and I go for travel and for an adventure. So that is a young soul. An old soul is like the one that say, "Oh, I am too old for to do this. Or I cannot do it." So that is what you should think about. It's not about the chronological. It's about more about the spiritual and mental, etc. So again, this is not an excuse. Your age is not an excuse to be less self-confident. And then once you propose to do things and achieve them, once you achieve them, it's very important. What is very important? To celebrate it. You deserve to celebrate your achievements. You should celebrate your achievements because if you don't celebrate them, it's like you don't acknowledge them. And for your mind, for your subconscious mind, it's very important to acknowledge what you got. All the effort that you put in some things. Once you achieve them, you say, okay, really, I deserve it because I put all this effort, I train, I read, and studied, and I work hard on that. And then I'm going to celebrate it. I don't know. It could be with in a festival, music festival like here. It could be just go for some drinks with friends. It could be to organize a trip for you. Whatever you feel like a celebration for you. It could be like a glass of wine after a hard work day. Anything that feels like a reward for you. So this is very important also to celebrate that. So with that, in general, I'm finishing the presentation, but in case you say, okay, this is blah, 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 lot of thought, but I want to know examples. Well, I can give you my life experience as an example. So the first time, well, no, it was not the first time, but one of the the main risks I decided to take already some years ago, it was in 2009, I think, or something like that. I jumped from a bridge. This is called, well, in English you say bungee jumping, but in Spanish we say puenting. That puente is bridge, and it's an English Spanish word. So I did puenting. I jumped from that bridge where the floor was this. There was no water in the floor, and that is the face I had after jumping. The happiness, that oh, I did it, I achieved that. I'm not happy with that. I decided to, a month and a half after, to jump, in this case, from an airplane. So I did with the parachute, the skydiving, well, with a monitor on top of myself. But yeah, that is also, once I achieved that, that gave me confidence. And so, again, I want to point out that you set yourself goals, challenging goals, and you achieve them, and that will give you confidence. That is the best way to give you confidence. You can read many books, you can like watch things, but the best to get confidence is to do things and achieve them. So you can set goals for yourself. It could be small goals, like I don't know. Today I will run 10 kilometers, or it could be more dangerous goals like this, etc. More examples in my life. So, well, over 15 years ago, a little less, I was working in Spain in an office, but my dream was to be able to travel because, well, I love traveling, and anytime I took holidays, I traveled to different countries. But my dream was to live abroad, and I decided to become a web developer freelancer, and well, it took a lot of hard working, but in the end I was able to work anywhere with this job, and I spent 3.5 years in Asia, for example, where I lived different adventures. For example, this is in Indonesia. I climbed a volcano in Bali with flip-flops. That was even more challenging. That was in Laos. This is in Thailand, Cambodia, Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam. Well, so I was 3.5 years thanks to this goal that I set to myself, that to be able to be free working online, it took time and effort to achieve that point. But once I got it, I received all the rewards. That was to be able to travel around Asia and to live different adventures. And then once I got that, and my next, one of my next goals was to, from, I had been an employee and then a freelancer. And then my next goal was to be an entrepreneur, to have my company. So still I was in Vietnam, and I decided to open a company about coconut oil. And it was a crazy dream at the time, but yeah, and well, I received the help from a Vietnamese partner who's here. And well, again, it was a crazy idea that I had, but if you work on that, I know this woman. Once I had the idea, I knew this woman, and she decided to help me. So once you have a goal and you work on with passion on that, the universe will bring you help. You will find a way, even though you don't see a way right now. The way will show up. You have that goal and you work on that. And then, well, before when I was still in Asia, so I was very focused on personal development, like as you can see now. So this is the result of years of this vision. So, but the first attempt to do this, it was called AHA, Awakening Heroes Academy. So this is a project that I started with a woman from Leeds, from the UK, and that made me travel to the UK. That it was kind of the excuse to travel to the UK. And that is like, I felt like Indiana Jones. Like, I was, at that time I was in Nepal. I decided to travel to the UK and just change my life, for a new adventure. So I went to Malaysia to visit a friend who had helped me before, Vietnam to meet my friends also and say bye-bye, go to Spain to see my family for a while, and then go to the UK. And that's how I started my adventure in the UK. And well, when you have a dream, the universe helps you, and that is what happens. I got accepted in this program for entrepreneurs, Spark Up in Liverpool, by the Liverpool Chamber of Commerce, and that is how I started the company in the UK. And Aula People, that is about languages, and also the Quantum Life University project, that is about personal development. And things that I have done in Liverpool, there's social language learning, the language exchange that we do now online, and probably will do again soon in person. I was doing that for years. And so salsa classes. Well, I knew how to dance salsa before, but I never imagined myself being a teacher. But for the sake of my business and to bring an income in the UK, I became a salsa teacher. And you can see here one of our guests, Archie, is well, I'm very grateful to him because he was in the first time I was doing the salsa class in Sefton Park, and he came and he has stayed for all this time. And well, you start from something very humble and you become something better with the time. Just when you have a goal, just keep working on that and you will achieve things. And the personal development courses also that I used to do in Liverpool, and now I do online. Yeah, more or less that is the end of the presentation. Now is the time for questions and answers. Carrie?
Oh yeah, you seem to be quite a positive person, where I know that I'm very much on the negative side. I can go down that route so quickly. that, you know, I'm beating myself up, you know, quite early on in the day if things go wrong. And how do you, I suppose that could be one of my goals is to learn how to be a positive thinker, but, you know, it's hard after, you know, years and years and years of being negative to switch that around to be more positive. So that's all I wanted to say, really.
Well, you must know that it takes the same effort to be negative and to be positive. So you use the same mental energy. So just to take the decision and you say, okay, from now on, I will act and think more positively. And you start, for example, with the affirmations, and you say, for example, I'm a positive person, or I believe in myself. This might sound crazy sometimes, no, like to repeat to yourself, I believe in myself, I believe in myself, like, I don't know, 20, 50, 100 times, no? Don't do it in front of people because they will think you are a bit crazy. But if you do for yourself in front of the mirror, that actually will act in your subconscious mind. You know, when you repeat something over and over again, that will act in your subconscious mind. And so it's about changing your beliefs and your mindset. And we had talk about neurolinguistic programming a couple of weeks ago, how we can reprogram our subconscious mind to that is actually the part of our mind that controls our life, because it acts with beliefs that, you know, if we believe we are able to do something, then we act with more courage and you know, more driven to do that. If we don't believe that, then, you know, we are more shy, etc. So but the thing is, it takes the same effort to think in one way or to think in the other way. So it's just to take the decision. You say, okay, from now on, I want to my mindset to be positive and to be, you know, like to dare to do things, etc. So, and whenever you face a new challenge, instead, you know, there will be this little talk here, like a little, like, no, you cannot do it. But then now you will be, you know, aware of these little weaknesses and control that, and will bring your other talk and say, yes, you can do it. Yes. No, don't believe that. No, you cannot do it. Yeah. So is which one do you want to give power? This one or this one? So you decide. In the end, is your decision. And once you start using the habit of, you know, whenever I face a challenge, I don't stop myself. I will just try, you know. Of course, you take the measures to, you know, if there is any risk or whatever, but, you know, usually there is no real risk. Like speaking in public, many people is afraid of. It's natural. We don't get born speaking in public. So it's something that naturally, at the beginning, we feel afraid. But once you start practicing, you become more confident, and in the end, you like it and you enjoy doing that. So, but what is the real risk of speaking in public and don't do too well? Are you going to die because of that? No, right? So just, you know, measure the things. Okay, if I don't do too well, it's okay. I don't know, like, for example, a good thing about traveling, when I travel and live in different places, a very good thing is that the people didn't know me, and if I didn't stay too long, you know, so if you live, for example, if you are in your neighborhood and people think, you know, your neighbor is going to think, oh, you know, they think this about me. But you are in another country and they don't know you, and you act in that way, you don't care that much. So that is, for example, a good trick if you are traveling. That just if you are in a new place, you don't have any. You are not afraid of trying new things, because I don't mind what the people were going to think about me. No, if the people is closer to you and they know and they are going to stay with you, you are more afraid usually. But even though you might say, okay, I don't care that much. I just, you know, do my way and will do it. So Again, it's a matter of mindset of your decision is to say, okay, from now on, I decide to be more confident and to, whenever I face a challenge, go for that. No question, I will go for that. Of course, if you're going to jump from the bridge, put a rope before jumping. No, but I mean, measure the risk. But usually the risks are not, in many occasions we are afraid of something that is not really serious, right? So, for example, public speaking or other topics. So just, challenge yourself. That is the, like the best tip to be self-confident. Challenge yourself and say, whenever I hear this little voice, no, you can do it, I cannot do it, blah, blah, blah. Shut up. Heard to this one. Yes, I believe in myself. I can do it. Right. So this is my little advice. I hope it helps.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question?
No, I just want to say thank you, Esteban. Today is my birthday. Yes.
That's right, my dear.
I'm so happy.
Happy birthday.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. Gracias. I'm so happy to be here with you, Esteban. I love you. I love everybody. And I am so happy because I can see the picture with Archie dancing salsa. I love to dance. So I wish I would there with you guys to dance with you and Karen and everybody in Diego. Because in Mexico, when you don't have a partner to dance with, you can dance with your friends, your girlfriends. So in Mexico, it's not a big deal. You don't have any friends, male friend, you can dance with your friends. Thanks, Sue. And I really liked when you're talking about sharpen your sharp or something like that. Your saw, sharpen your saw. And it's really good because you can grow. Even now, in my case, I'm still learning English. Sometimes when I hear myself and I say, oh, no, my God, I cannot pronounce that word, but I don't give up. I have to improve because it's my goal to have a better life. I want to move to US and I have a friend who is willing to help me. So fingers crossed, please pray for me. And is my goal, my next goal. The first one was having a meetup group where I can teach Spanish through the Bible, and I really love it. Now I have another meetup group that I've been teaching also English with my American friends that I have. And he created this for me because I don't even have the money to do that, but he was willing to help me. And like Esteban said, that if you have a dream, you don't need to figure it out right now how to do it if you don't have the resources, economically speaking, but you focus on your goal. So the help is coming your way. So be brave and you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it for sure. Because you can see my life is not good right now, but here in my heart, I have a lot of love to give to all of you guys and more to all the world. So keep on your mind that you can do it. You have a lot of resources with Esteban. He's a beautiful soul. So he teaches how to be a better man, a better woman. So keep in your mind that you feed your mind with positive thinking. Carrie, you can do it because I remember when I see myself back in time, I was very angry all the time and grumpy. You don't want to meet me like 5 years ago, but then I began to change and you can do it. So thank you, Esteban. I love you. I love you guys. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All I can say is that the business with the looking into a mirror with positive affirmations, I can assure you it works. It works. You just have to keep doing it. Believe me, you'll get there in the end. They are so powerful. Just, I mean, it doesn't cost much to buy a mirror. And I don't care if the neighbors think I'm crazy. Let them.
That's it. So yes, I was telling to already time ago to use the affirmations, and yes, she has used them, and it's working for her. Thank you again for your coming to this chat, and yeah, see you next week if you wish. We'll be here again.
Thank you.
Bye,
Enjoy
guys.
your
Thank
day.
you.
Bye,
See
guys.
you. See you.
Bye.